welcome at the Politics Watch. This is Sir P. Don't bother check your calendar. It's not April the 1st. Yes, we have an exclusive interview with none other than Leah Tavares Finson. Now, if you're a regular viewer of this channel, you would have heard me talk about Leah on many occasions. By now you should know her father is Tom Tavares Finson. Her mother is Cindy Breakspear. Her brother Damian Marley. And her baby father, the first one, is Christopher Linton, aka Dogpaw. That's a lot of people to be connected to. Now, this interview took place on Instagram, so think of it more as a conversation between me and Leah Tavares Finson, and the public is viewing the conversation. Of course, I did make her aware that I was going to make this video public, right? However, there were a couple things we agreed on, right? During the conversation, we spoke about some things that, right, we both agreed there's no need to put that out there. A lot of it is centered around, the youths them and things like that, who are completely innocent in all of this. So, you're not seeing every single thing. Also, you have to bear in mind, this took place on Instagram, so it's not like we were sitting in front of each other, where, you can read body language and you can give quick responses and you can follow up a question right away because the person is sitting right in front of you and can't run away. Right, or even a phone call. It's been done via Instagram, so of course people can take them time to respond. Right, so all of them things they have to get put in a context. Now here's the thing. I've actually talked to a whole heap of 87's baby mother over the years. Now for the man them when I do make videos about, oftentimes them baby mother link me, right? Them girl link me. And we've had this conversation. This is just the first one to go public, right? As I was speaking to Leah Tavares Finson, I was looking for patterns. I was looking for similarities because so far, whenever I speak to these women, I start to realize a trend. And I was thinking to myself, let me see if it's the same thing with Leah Tavares Finson. We could go straight into it. We could start off with the question you see up at the top. Since you are from different sides of the fence, quote unquote, how did you meet Dogpaw? Now, for those of you who are unaware, let me say, Leah Tavares Finson is what Jamaican people refer to as an uptown girl. Let me say, Tom Tavares Finson is her father. Right? I think he's the president of the Senate. He's also a QC, one of the most prominent lawyers in Jamaica. Her mother is Cindy Breakspear, right, the former beauty queen. Right? And her brother is Damian Junior Gang Marley. Right? So that's the kind of family she comes from, as uptown as it gets. Now obviously Dogpaw doesn't have the same background. Right? Now that in itself is not a problem. Obviously nobody no more than nobody because no man come from Yasso and no man come from Yasso. Right? When I say opposite side of the fence, I'm talking about the fact that here you have this quote unquote uptown girl, right, with this 87 who is of this reputation of being feared, right? So then when you couple it with the fact that her father is one of the biggest lawyers in the country and also a politician, it's like you're the politician, the lawyer, daughter being with, right, the 87, right, the bad man. That's what I mean by opposite side of the fence, right? Not just in geography. So her response was, when I graduated pre-university, I was about 17 and I had a friend who went to Jamaica College and they introduced me to him, right? Right, then you see she said, I should say, went to JC with Pa, right? Now, she called Dogpaw Pa, right? You're gonna see Pa or Chris, right? So, 17 years old, friend introduced, right, to Dogpaw. For those of you who are unaware, Dogpaw is a JC old boy. Yes, he attended Jamaica College. As you can see, I asked, was he still in school or left already? She wrote, left already. Right? We are the same age. Right? So Dogpaw and Leah Tavares Finson are the same age. Next question. Now for this part, I wanted to know if when she met him, right, he was already Dog Paw, the 87, right? He already had the reputation or whatever, right? And she's saying, no, when she met him, he was just 17-year-old Dog Paw, right? And she describes him as loving to her and all them things, right? So, look up at the top. How long after you met him did you hear his name start to associate with the streets? Her answer is, he went to jail prior to this last occasion, but remember that them times access to info, etc. wasn't like now. So we were together, he got locked up for a while and came home, but as far as when I'd really have heard his name in the street, it wouldn't have been till the Tivoli incursion. So it was during the incursion, right? Later Tavares Finson is saying, this is when, right? She started to know, say, Dog Paw is a 87, or Dog Paw have a reputation for being a 87. But no, my regular viewers them already have them Cupertino them on, and them Unicorn in the next hand, right? Remember, in this interview, in this reasoning, in this conversation, I wanted to see how Leah Tavares Finson look on things. I wanted to see her perspective. So, sometimes, you might see an answer, you might think to yourself, but oh, nothing can go so. Certain times, we just make you talk and then we respond further on. So, you're going to see my response to him further. For now, we are trying to get the history of her on Dog Paw from fear when I'm out. Right? So, in the blue, me said that after it became public that you were his girl, what impact, if any, did it have on your relationship with your own family and the broader uptown crowd? She said, rough. Right. In full capital. Next question. As you can see, I said, care to go deeper into that? She said, nobody wants to associate with you. My family worried for safety, sleepless nights for my parents, it was really hard. I responded, sleepless because they were worried about their safety or yours. Right. As you can see, I can't only say what I know. I can only say what I know. No, the reason why the messages look like this is because I don't know if it's an Instagram thing, but sometimes me ask a question and then she answer and then the reply would come further on down the message. So that's why it kind of look out of date, and then she say, oh sorry, my safety, because it's that the message them now reach in time. Right, so just to clarify that, because just following this down the line, it might not make sense to you. Now, as to the answer, you can imagine when this first bus out come on road, say, the daughter of Tom Tavares Finson is involved with Christopher Dog Paw Linton, right? You already know how that go, right? So, that is what she talk about, right? When she said, nobody wants to associate with you. Then she has a sleepless nights to the parents then, because if you know it already, if this man of a 87, you know, come with a lifestyle and your daughter, they own him, and you know that guy already. So, as you can say, sleepless nights. Right? Next question. Now, earlier when time I see a pattern when I speak to the girlfriends, baby mother, wives of some of the money when we do video about. This is the pattern, the exact same pattern. When them talk about the 87, them speak about the person with them know, right? How the person treat them. Right? Them speak about the person with them see in a them yard. So every time I speak to one of these women, me usually get, no sir, him not stay so, you don't like how you see your mother on TV. Right? And she say, not my son. The pattern we realize is that many of these women who are with the 87s, them sound very similar to the mother. Not my son, no, loving, caring, right? And it's because they must speak from a personal perspective. Right? They might talk about the person where them see at the time. Them not talk about the person who go up on apps. Very few. I'm speaking to these women, very few have said, you know what? Even though I'm a man, I know say him go do this and him go do that, and well, what happened to him, I saw it go, because that comedy lifestyle. Very few, majority sound like how you hear. Leah Tavares Finson sound righteous. But anyway, I asked her, did any of his enemies ever threaten you? She said, if he has enemies, I don't know of them. I've never had an issue in that regard. If he has enemies. I'm pretty sure Dog Paw have enemies. Dog Paw himself will tell the same have enemies in the streets. It's a part of the lifestyle. Anyway, I respond, I understand that you would have only seen the lover version of Dog Paw, but do you think the residents, police, families of victims, etc. are all wrong about him? Even his cronies acknowledge him as a bad man. What would you say to that? Now, as you can see, she responds, victim, right, because as me say, residents, right, the victims, families, all of them people, she really thinks, right, Dog Paw is not a criminal. So this is how she's saying, victim, and of course the way the question is asked is like, which victim? There is no victim. As you can see, me immediately respond to this by saying, yes, victims actually, plural. And I'm not talking about the police case that him just beat. As you know, the case of Dog Paw just beat, right, and win the appeal. That was a case where that was against some police officers, right? But the old time case, them old Dog Paw reputation make a road, right? When I talk about victims, that me talk about. So she's saying victim. Now, answer this in the comment section. Do you think it's a case where Leah Tavares Finson genuinely doesn't know about the activities and reputation, right, of Dog Paw, or is a case where, right, she try to use her head? Right? Let me know in the comment section. That victim with the question mark, interesting. Let me know in the comment section, right? Because I say, I know people have them unicorn side of them, right, and people ready for buy. Right? We can get into it. She said, I've known Chris, again that's Dog Paw, for 17 years. And I know only the person you see in his interviews. Caring, loving, and always does his best to ensure everyone is alright. People think that's a PR stunt, that is him day in and out. Now, I know say, Wally Pack his teeth are going right now. I know say people are say, sorry people the unicorn in there. But, this is what I think. By Leah Tavares Finson's own admission, right, there are huge gaps in between her knowing the reputation of Dog Paw. Right. So, when she said, day in, day out, right, and she referred to him being loving and all these things, right, that might be the case for her when him there on her. Right. So she might be talking about that. But as I said to her various times when we were talking, you have to understand, as far as certain residents are concerned, certain people are concerned, that is not the case. Them don't know the Dog Party. That's not the Dog Paw them deal with. Right. But, of course, that's shown what she said. Then at the bottom message she said, you said you wanted to know about me. Right. So right now she's switching it back, right, to herself. Because now, as I said, this is now probably the first time now me a push back, right? Because as you can see, me say victims actually. Right now she say, right, he said he wanted to know about me because when we first started talking, I was saying to her, I want to understand, right, Leah Tavares Finson, right, and how this came to be. So now she say you want to know about me. In other words, make you ease up after the Dog Paw talking. Remember, this is being done by Instagram. If it was in person, right, then we could like keep pushing. When you talk to somebody on Instagram and you start to go down a certain road, you know, then you can just leave for a long while and then you just wait for them to come back, right? So, look at the next question. I ask her, what did you say to someone who thinks you only date bad man? Right. She says, who is bad to you is good to me. I deal with love and love alone. I would never be with someone who was hurting others, much less killing. Again, we know say Tita kiss all across Augustown, all across Jamaica. People are kiss Tita and them read that. Because people are saying to themselves, how is that possible? When they say she would never be with someone who was hurting others, people are going to say about Dog Paw hurt other people. Right? Now, you heard she mention before that technology wasn't so common right? I'm guessing she's trying to say that, you couldn't really get certain information from knowing who is who. But I think even back then, Darkpa's reputation was well known. Anyway, she then follows up with never ever ever. So she's now stressing the point. Goes on to say, many people tell me that if they had met me, their view of me would be different. I love the kids, the moms, the dads, everyone around that I can help or find the help for. I'm just not like other people where I post everything I do. Right. So, I guess she's stating that, she would never be with nobody who are people because, she's somebody who, as they can see, she said she love the kids, the moms, the dads. I mean, you can tell Leah Tavares Swinton's father is a politician. That right there is the kind of, that's what you'd expect from your local MP when Maggie speaks. So Leah Tavares Swinton has been around a few political campaigns. That sound like a politician line right there. Right? I love the kids, the moms, the dads, basically everybody that. Everyone around that I can help or find the help for. Right? I'll go look on the rest. So by this point, I follow up with, but you understand why people would say that, right? She says, I do, I totally understand, but I'm just me and I believe the world always needed me to just be who I am. My parents are awesome people. People just don't know that I was with Pa for so long. Them think him wanted and I love him because him wanted. It's free. Right, so I guess she's clearing up that Darkpa wasn't wanted man, right, and then she could be with him. Right, she's saying she was with him before him turned wanted man. Right. And of course, as you can see, she's showing the part with her appearance. We could look on the next question. So now she says, my dad would never ever be okay with my choice, but he had nothing to do with it, and he just loved me after. It was probably effing hard not to love me, but to be okay with me. What do parents do? Love their kids, but my dad was never okay with my choices. He only made a choice to love me regardless. Now here's the thing. If Darkpa was this, youth who wasn't associated with certain things, why would your father be so against it? That's what she's basically saying. Her father wasn't really for it. Him never happy about it, right? But him just love her because I'm that. So Tom Tavares Swinton know what I want. Tom Tavares Swinton know who Darkpa was. Right? So the father know who Darkpa was, but the daughter didn't, who was with Darkpa. You have to think about that part, because she's saying he would never ever ever be okay with the choice. She asked me if I understand, and I said yes, of course, I understand. End of the day, a man gonna love his little girl regardless. Right? Next question. I ask her, do you think your connection with Darkpa negatively affect your father's image? And she answers quite simply, yes. That's obvious. Right? As me say, when it first bust out, say, Tom Tavares Swinton's daughter, they with Darkpa, and then when they end up even have a youth together and things, they say, no, it's not a local fling, right? They know it's a serious thing and a long-term thing. Then, of course, as you can imagine, the image, right, that the Tavares Swinton family had, right, you take a serious knock, especially, right, Tom Tavares Swinton, who was politician and lawyer. Right? So yes, her link to Darkpa affected her father's image. Next question. So I ask her, when you were growing up, did you consider yourself a privileged child? She said, I couldn't know. I lived. How you know at that time if you're privileged? You just lived. My father never gave us anything unless we performed at school. So she's saying, you're born uptown, right? Of course, everybody grew up in their own world, right? If you're born in that world, at the time, you're not on the concept of, oh yeah, I am privileged, right? That's what she's saying. She just lived. It's just normal to her. And I get that, because for most people, even the reverse, if you're born in a poor community, when you're young, right, when you're a little youth, you don't fully understand poor, rich, middle class, and all them things. Right? It's when you start to get older and start to move out of the world and you start to realize that there are different divides, different socioeconomic classes and them things. Right? So I said to her, I understand at that age you don't know what average person life is like. But in my opinion, part of the reason people might pressure you more is because the perception is you come from uptown background, so you don't get the excuse that another girl, another woman might get. I'm saying to her right this. People are gonna pressure you more because the kerosene will come from a Salt Spring, right, or a Rima, right, or a Tivoli Garden, who comes from a very poor background. Right. She might get drawn to the bad man because he might make money, right, and he can probably provide better than the average youth in the community, right, because he might go up and film robbery apps them or whatever, or she might get drawn to the scammer, right, because, you know, the perks and, you know, being with the bad man might give you like a strength of the community and all them things there, right, you know, inner city politics. But she's from quote unquote uptown, so she never, right, did Afi, right, link with no 87, right, because of them thing there. Right. So it look worse upon her than it would, right, for Kerry, right, from Rona Marchpen Road. Right. It look worse upon her, right, because people are say, well, you had more options, you had more choices, and you made the wrong choices. Right. Next question. Now, the top two lines are a follow up from before. When I say that another woman would get, after that, I write in the exact same scenario, right, and I say Jamaicans think uptown life equals perfect. By that, I mean say, right, people generally think say if you come from wealth or if you come from means, right, and if you come from quote unquote uptown, even if you're not really that rich, you just come from uptown or a certain address, then life is perfect in the sense that, right, you know the same problems with the rest of Jamaica where both everything good for you. And people say you bread butter upon two sides. So that's what I mean by saying Jamaicans think uptown life equals perfect. Right? People tell you, say, well, them alright, you know, because them have this and them have that. Her response is, right, but I don't cuss or degrade anyone else. Again, that was a, you know, the message takes slow to come, so that's why it look like you really follow. The real answer starts at, no, it don't mean perfect. More money, more problems. Nice house mean mortgage. Nice school is fees. Right? Now, I know enough Jamaicans are watching that thing to themselves. They would love to have the more money, more problems issue. Right? I know people are going to say that. Whenever people who have money say more money equal more problems, people who don't have money say, well, but I still love to have them problems there. Right? It's a case where two people on two different sides of the fence just can't relate to each other. Right? And one thing where man look at and say that's an issue, the next person look at and say that is a big issue. Right? Next question. No, right, yourself. Instead of what I say, as someone with the experience, right, as in being with somebody like Darkman, what would you say to a female who see the bad man image and the clout that comes with it and is tempted to mix their life, male or female, but female especially? Right? In other words, tell kerosene what it's really like, right? Because people have this glamorous image, right? You know, this Bonnie and Clyde image, and it's like, you know, the down, you know, down for the streets, and it sounds cool, right? I'm saying to her, right, what did you say, right? What did you say to these females? She responds, I don't have words for that because I never saw Chris that way. As you can see, as far as Leah Tavares Finch is concerned, Christopher Dog Paulington is not at 87, is not a bad man. He not have nothing to do with badness. Right. She kept that stance continuously, right, throughout, right, the conversations. Even she mentioned that her father never happy because this and that, and because as far as she was concerned, it was none of these things. Again, this is consistent with what I observe when we talk to the girlfriends and the baby mothers and the wives of many of the men we cover on this channel. Consistent. Next question. Now, this is where I know people have a link me and say, Sir P, give me about 3 unicorn, right, adults and 1 filly. She says, that's why I tell you, you think Pa is like them. He isn't. Right away, me step in. Okay, let me play the advocate here. She follows up. He get bad name, right, because of the people around. Dog Pa only get bad name because of the people in with they run him. Where have you heard that before? as me say, whenever you hear the mothers speak, whenever you hear the girlfriends speak, whenever you hear the wife, the baby mother speak, this is what you hear. Him now do nothing, right? But the people them when him there on I do things. Him just a par with them man, or do things, but him now do nothing. Right away, I responded. Right. A man can love his child, right, or babies in general, but still be a killer who hurt other families and inflict suffering on them. Doggy from Stone Crusher comes to mind. His kids adore him and he loved them, but he was one of the top killers in the gang. That's the Stone Crusher gang. Put that out there because, as I say, a lot of the messages in between, once you start to involve the youths them, I didn't involve them here. Right. So some of the things them they get left out because of that reason. But she was saying to me that how much she'd mentioned the fact that Dog Pa love his son, right, and how he's with his son. Right. And because of this, that was like some kind of evidence that he can't be this person where the rest of August Stone and Jamaica, right, is saying is at 87. So this is what I'm saying to her. A man can love him youth and him babies, right? But still hurt other people and feed them family, right? This is going back to the whole thing when I said victim, right? Victims, and she said victim question mark, and I said plural. Right? So again, later Varys Vincent seems to be speaking from what she see. When she sit down round Dog Pa and him there with female youth and she observe you. Right? The Dog Pa with the rest of Jamaica know, where residents know, Augusto know, the police know. That Dog Pa doesn't seem to exist for later Varys Vincent. Again, this is consistent with what you see whenever I speak, right, to these women. Next question. I didn't say to her, right, I always like to show people that badness is not as glamorous as you hear and see. She responds, but which fool could think badness is glamorous? I said, hold on, well you'll be surprised, but anyway, right. She follows up, well it's not, Pa has been through hell. No, they say badness not glamorous, right. And she agrees badness not glamorous, and then she says Pa, Dog Pa, has been through hell. But remember, Dog Pa is supposed to involve in the badness. So the fact that she's agreeing and saying that badness is glamorous and Dog Pa has been through hell, well, you kind of have to read between the lines, so. And again, this is also consistent when we speak to the other woman then. They always talk about what the 87 or the 90 go through, right? You might feel run up and down, you might feel over here, so, and them always talk about, right, the lifestyle where 87 have to live, but what they never really mention is the fact that are the things them might do make them have to live. So it's not like they're, law-abiding youth who go about them business and then them just live, them just go through hell, right? If you go on certain apps do certain things, you know, stay go hot. You go run up and down, you go over here, so you get locked up, you get bail, then you have to check in every minute at station. So the woman who is with that man, right, from fear perspective, she say he's going through hell, right? She now look upon what him do and what him do to people. For him, I go through hell. Next question. So now I ask her, when you go about your day-to-day life, do you overtly see any form of scorn, so to speak, because of who you are associated with? She responds, yep, all day, every day. She tells a story here where she says she went to go pick up a package and a girl she was best friends all of her prep school days totally scorned her off. She says she won't ever forget it. It was as shocking as I am. And she laughed. Then no, she's referring to me directly. She said, it's not easy. I see you call me an 87. You don't even know me. I'm just loving and good to help out everyone. Here's the thing. When people say, oh, you said this, but you don't know me. I don't know the man who fly the plane, but I know my pilot. And even though I've never met Beyonce, I can tell you that she's an entertainer. So whenever I do certain videos about people, right, and people say, but you don't know me. Like, we don't even know each other personally. I'm gonna really even know your details. Right? I can be like, okay, this person is with this or this person does this, so that. Right? Because I get the whole you don't know me thing very often. Right? And it's not personal. Right? When I make a video about somebody, it's not like I sit down and I'm gonna have up the person in my heart, right? And it's a personal beef. Right? We are talking about OC. Right? We make observations. Anyway, I know people that say about Sir Pina car at 87. Well, don't worry, I'm gonna correct it in the next question or the next slide. Check this out. Now, as you can see at the top, I'm correcting her now. I'm saying, no, you're not an 87, right? You're a kerosene. She says, I don't really know, because if you hold your own, you racist. Oh yes, Carol. Again, the messages are coming in different, right? And also because, as I say, certain part delete because the mention of her, her youth them and thing there. So the part about you racist, she's saying that was in reference to, she'll say, when she certain people and them treat her a certain way, she can't hold her own because people are going to say she racist. Because as you can obviously see, right, Leah Tavares Finson is not a black woman. Right? So if there was to be ever any kind of, I guess confrontation and she was to say something, I guess she's saying that people are going to say she racist. Right? But when we first see that, because of the message them coming in slow, I was confused. I was like, I am racist? That's new. How would I go? Right? And then, the one about the message she mentioned, so funny, because I used to sell gas. Check this last slide. She then clarifies, no, not you, overall, how people are. So she's saying that, no, she's not saying I'm racist. Because I was like, what? That's confusing, right? I've been called a lot of things before, but not that, right? But anyway, as you can see, I said, oh, got you. And then now I'm laughing. And at this point, I was laughing in real life when I said, no way. Because she said she used to sell gas. And as you can see, I mentioned the viewers are going to love that. Right? The president of the KAJ, right, used to actually sell gas. You cannot make this up. Netflix, Hollywood couldn't dream this up. The president of the Kerosene Association of Jamaica used to actually sell gas in our real life. So at this point I'm laughing. Right? We then started to go back into some more things regarding, right, Mr. Youth them and anything there, which I didn't put into this. So people asked it. As I say, it's not a traditional interview. It wasn't no grilling, right? We were having a conversation, right? And she agreed that I could show, right, the conversation to the people then, right? Because I said, you know what? I'm sure Jamaica, right, want to have at least a little bit of understanding as to how, right, this union, right, farm, because it's not every day you see a story like this. But the whole 87 and kerosene thing is very common, right? But the circumstances and the background that the people involved, right, is most unusual, right? So that's what I want to share with the people. What you see in this video is about 70% of the conversation. Not many things really, like, were eye openers, right? I never know see them meet from them JC days, right? But certain other things like, how she said things affect her father image. And even the fact that, right, she said, listen, she don't know if Dog Paw as being this bad person and they're hurting nobody, right? And he's this loving, caring guy. I expected that. Whenever I speak, right, to the girlfriends, right, it's the same thing, right? They always say it's consistent. Whenever I speak to the mothers, it's the same thing. Right? So that no surprise me either. Right? But hopefully people have a little better understanding, right, of the Leah Tavares Finson and Christopher Dog Paw Linton story. Right? It definitely wasn't no grilling, because what me would I really want to know, a Dog Paw alone of them answers there. Right? And of course, as you know, Dog Paw did his interview with Loop. Right? So, Leah Tavares Finson, right, I have to say, appreciate the civil conversation and the exchange of information. I know say enough people are going to buy unicorns, enough people are going to hear some of the responses, especially what she said about dog paw. People will kiss them teeth. But at least now, she can say Jamaica have a little bit of understanding about the Leah and dog paw story. Now, before I finish the video, I want to say this. Even though you heard Leah Tavares Finson say, people look upon her away, right? People, right, even our old school friend, they might scan her because them hear say, right, who she apart with. That's really as bad as it gets for Leah Tavares Finson. Right? Remember, say, the girl who come from Rona, Salt Spring, or come from Rona Jungle, or Rona Walton. After them leave 87, after them break up with the money, the reputation, right, many of them are now, right, in a situation where they have to go face the consequences, face the actions of some of the man them where them talk to. Being from quote unquote uptown, probably shielded Leah Tavares Finson from enough of the hardcore badness. Because she admits that she's never been threatened by none of his enemies. And normally, whenever any problem go on between man and man in the badness world, one of the first people them threaten and bad up is the 87 girl. Right? So, man know say that's Tom Tavares Finson's daughter. You have to keep that in your mind. Other 87s know say Leah Tavares Finson's father is a powerful lawyer and a powerful politician. And then probably wouldn't go in bed go dream, right, of hurting her because them fear the backlash. The rest of girl them, right, who might say them deal with bad man over here, start deal with them man over here, so might not be so lucky. The lifestyle, the image, trust me, it's not all it's cracked up to be. In real life, many women who date men with certain reputations end up paying the ultimate price. In Leah Tavares Finson, it was a loss of reputation, some bad looks here and there. For others, then pay with them life. Anyway, H&M Squad, big up on yourself. Although I know someone see this from yesterday because I want to get the exclusive early. Or at least I know about this from yesterday. PIA, you don't know, more life. Vulture Squad, no, circle.